Can you avoid Canadian taxes and foreign asset disclosure just by putting everything in a US LLC? Not so fast. That is unfortunately not a loophole that's available. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a CPA licensed in both Canada and the US. I'm a cross-border tax consultant and co-author of my new book, Your Move to Canada, all about navigating the Canadian and US tax implications of moving to Canada and how to approach our tax system the right way while reducing taxes. I recently made a TikTok about the T1135, which is about specified foreign property and asset disclosure and how you could be subject to significant penalties if you don't file this form. And I got a number of comments saying, why don't you just put everything in an LLC? So for US tax purposes, an LLC is a disregarded entity. But if you're a Canadian tax resident, the LLC is seen as a separate corporation, not a disregarded entity in the eyes of the CRA. And there's a few issues. If you have significant interest in a foreign corporation like a US LLC, you have to report that on Form T1134. This is a very complicated form and it also triggers substantial late filing penalties. On top of that, Canada has a separate regime when individuals generate passive income in a foreign corporation. And this is an anti-avoidance rule specifically targeting ideas like this, that you could just have investments in a foreign corporation and the CRA doesn't have anything to do with it. If you earn passive income in a foreign corporation, it could still be taxable to you individually in Canada through something called the FAPI regime. And on top of that, even though your corporation is technically a US corporation, Canada has essentially deemed residency rules for corporation, where if the mind and management of the corporation is in Canada, such as if you're the only shareholder and everything's done in Canada, that corporation may be seen as a Canadian resident corporation subject to all the other tax rules that other Canadian corporations are. So this is purely tax evasion, and I would not suggest this approach to anyone. Just hiding all of your money in a US LLC is really just inviting more tax troubles for you. And if your approach is, I'm just not going to report anything to the CRA, then that is your prerogative, but that is strictly against the rules. Check out my TikTok page if you want to learn about actual legal ways to reduce your taxes and benefit from our Canadian tax system. And check out Your Move to Canada on Amazon.